Well, hello to the First Baptist family and to the Friends of First Baptist Tulsa. This is our midweek update for February 16th, 2022. Just a personal note, good day. This is the day my daughter turns 25 years old, so I've been a parent for 25 years, and I've loved every minute of it. So here's the 3-2-1, 3 things I want you to know, 2 chapters in the Bible I would invite you to read, and 1 way I'd ask you to pray this next week. So let's see what we have going on this week. A couple things. We're still in the middle of our midweek at First. We have several discipleship options on Wednesday night. My class is an open class, so if you're not plugged in anywhere on a Wednesday night, it's great things for students and our kids. I'm teaching through 2 Samuel, so please be aware of that. We do the meal at 5, and then our teaching time starts at 6 o'clock. Also, since it's going to be the end of the month here pretty soon, that triggers my pastor's coffee. And if you're new around First Tulsa, I would invite you to be a part of that coffee. I limit it to 10 or 12 people. Sit around with a cup of coffee at 9:45 in between our worship gatherings and talk about what it means to be a follower of Jesus and what it means to be a part of First Baptist Tulsa. So you can sign up online or you can contact my office. And then finally, here's a service opportunity, and I think I've mentioned this already, but every Wednesday afternoon between about 3 and 5 o'clock, we open our gym to a group of Afghan refugees who have recently relocated to Tulsa. Because they're in a temporary housing situation, there's not much room for them just to be together and spread out and let the kids run. And so we open up our gym. If you're interested in volunteering for that, and again, we're talking maybe a dozen. I was over there this last week, maybe a dozen or 20 people or so. If you want to volunteer and just interact, sit, talk, smile, you can contact Helen in our missions office or Mike Hart, our missions pastor, and we can get you connected with that. And it's a great way to be the hands and feet of Christ to folks who've just come into our community. And so I want to make you aware of that, and that's how we'll pray here at the end. So the 2 chapters I would invite you to read in the Bible this week is Exodus 17 and 18. And I'm going to be just very short with this because what I want to do, more than explaining the text, I want you to read the text and just soak in one idea this week. And the idea is this, that God gives us everything we need. And this Exodus adventure that the children of Israel were on, really it's a model for us to understand life in Christ and how every step along the way, God provided what they needed, whether they were faithful or not. Okay, so there were consequences to their unfaithfulness when they would grumble or when they would complain or argue, but God never stopped letting His children be His children. And so what we have in chapter 17 is God providing for the physical needs of His people, particularly water. And Paul would pick up on this writing in the New Testament and say how this was Christ living in the midst of the Israelite people without them even knowing it. And we have, of course, the water of life with Christ in our lives. And so God providing for the physical needs of His people, and then God also providing for the emotional and spiritual needs of Moses. In chapter 18, Moses is overwhelmed. Who among us is not overwhelmed sometimes these days? And so what we see here is we see the unending resource of God being poured into His people's lives, whether that's physical resource, emotional resource, spiritual resource. God is a God who provides all that we need, especially as His children. Oh, what love the Father has lavished on us, says 1 John 3, verse 1, that we should be called children of God. And so read 17 and 18, just kind of stick with that one idea that God provides everything we need. Rest in that. It would be good to ask God for some things you think you need, but whether or not He provides what you think you need, God is going to give you exactly what we need, and we can rest in that assurance. So the one way I want you to pray this week, if you would pray for the Afghan refugees that our church is coming into contact with, and not only this group that we meet on Wednesday, but we're going to have other opportunities that I'll share later to interact with this group of refugees that have come in, to be the hands and feet of Christ to them. But especially if you would just set a reminder in your phone this Wednesday afternoon. Now you can volunteer, but if you want to pray, Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock or all those times, set a reminder and pray for these refugee families who we're caring for and hosting in our Tulsa area. May the Lord bless you. I love you, and I love being your pastor. May the Lord bless you this week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.